Hello, it's good to see you people. It's good to be here. Uh, I'm Father Dajad Davidian, priest of the Armenian Church, and dear Yeprem asked me if I would do this thing on YouTube. I don't even know what he calls it, and he asked me to pick a subject, and the thing that I picked was friendship, being friends. You know, the essence of the Christian gospel is simply one thing. Christianity is not a theology, it is not a ritual, it is not a tradition. Uh, Christianity is simply an emotion. That emotion we call love. You know, it's the most elusive thing in human experience. All of us want to love, all of us want to be loved, and all of us have been hurt by love. But at the heart of love is friendship. Of course, we can't be friends with everybody. Jesus says we're to love one another as we would have others love us. Uh, and there are only very few people that we can be really intimate with our love. We should love all people. But love means to desire their good. Friendship is something else. Friendship is where you share not just your love, but you share yourself. You share your essence with the other person. In a real sense, you open yourself up, body, soul, and mind, to the other person. And friendship is a very precious thing. In life, we only have really a few friends that we can really call good friends. In Armenian, we say Hokir Arazat. I think in kindred souls, genuine souls that we are friends with. And that's all right. That's the way it's meant to be. Because if you're friends with everybody, that means you're friends with nobody. But friendship has its rules. You know, the basic sin of man is that we try to dominate other people. Parents try to dominate their children. Children try to dominate their parents. Uh, Spouses try to dominate each other. And unfortunately, in friendship, a lot of times friendships break up because one friend tries to dominate the other. And this is something we always have to be careful of, that we have to be humble in our friendship. We have to have humility in our friendship. We have to have thanksgiving. We have to thank God for our friends. Now, there'll be times in life that our friendship sort of gets frayed. We get angry with each other. Oh, I'm not going to have anything to do with that person anymore. It happens. Don't worry. One of my favorite stories of relationships in the Bible is a story of between St. Paul the Apostle and John Mark, who was a relative of a co-apostle, Barnabas. And something happened. They went to Cyprus together, and it says John Mark left them and went back. And you know, time goes on and we wonder what has happened to John Mark. But later, in the letters of St. Paul, he does mention Mark. He does mention there's something happened. Their friendship became frayed. They got upset with each other. Uh, and yet, eventually, they were reconciled. To me, that's very interesting. There are times that we have to take a vacation from our friendship. Sometimes we get too close to each other. Sometimes we just have to step back. But then we have to come back to each other. There has to be reconciliation. That's another aspect of the Christian gospel, is reconciliation. And of course, the greatest friendship is we have to be friends with God through Jesus Christ. That's why God manifested himself in a human form, in the person of Jesus, a man like us, just like us in every respect, and yet also the perfect manifestation of God. It's very difficult. If I tell you to be friends with God, how can you be friends with God? All of us have a little bit of fear of God in us. Awe is the word we use. How can you be friends with somebody that is so awesome? You know, the other aspect of awesome is awful. Awful and awesome mean the same thing, but awful is not good. Same thing too with our friendship with God. So God became a man so that we can be friends with him through Jesus. There's an old Protestant hymn that I like very much. What a friend we have in Jesus. And that's what faith is more than anything else, is being friends with God through Jesus Christ. We can be friends with Jesus. Jesus is a very lovable character. When we read the gospel, when we see, when we hear what he says uh, in a non-judgmental way, when he tells us not to be hypocrites, when he tells us to be humble, when he tells us to be caring and loving, uh, and even in the parable of the prodigal son, where the father comes out and greets his prodigal son. But the important person in that prodigal son parable is the older brother who becomes jealous. And instead of greeting his brother, he says, hey, this kid squandered your wealth. Why are you receiving him back like that? We have to be friends. And friendship begins, since I mentioned the prodigal son, friendship begins within a family. Husbands and wives have to be friends with each other. You can argue, that's all right, but be friends. Let it be an argument between friends. Parents have to be friends with their children. Children have to be friends with their parents. Brothers and sisters have to be friends with each other. Of course, that friendship is a different kind of friendship. Every friendship is different. A friendship that you have with the Hokuharazad person, that real precious friendship that you have with a very select person, is different than the friendship you're going to have with your brother. But at the heart, it's the same thing. It means that you care for each other. I will never forget something that happened to me just recently. When I say I'll never forget, as we say in Armenian, Shada Kanats Kichomanats, I mean, much is gone and only a little bit is left. But in the little bit of my life that is left, I will never forget this. And I want to share it with you. I talked to my brother. You know, my brother was 3.5 years younger than me. We argued all our life, even though we agreed in everything, but we always argued. Again, one-upmanship. I try to be one up on him, he tries to be one up on me. Last summer, I called him. Something moved me. I think it was the Holy Spirit. And I said to him, hey Raymond, you want to know something? He said, what? I love you. I love you, Raymond. You know what he said? First time in my life that I said to him, I love you. First time in my life that I heard him say to me, I love you too. That's important. Say that to each other. Say that to your friends. I mean, this whole expression of our friendship is a manifestation of what Christianity is all about. Thank you.